Look around you. You see freedom, right? The open road, endless possibilities, a life unwritten. But what if I told you that most of us are living inside a prison? It's not a prison with bars you can see or walls you can touch, but an invisible cage. A cage built by our own minds, a prison so cunning, so insidious that we don't even realize we're captives. We walk around convinced we're free, while unconsciously sabotaging our dreams, stifling our potential, and trapping ourselves in cycles of regret. This isn't about external forces holding you back. This is about the profound, often unconscious ways we become our own jailers. And today, we're going to expose this invisible prison, understand its architecture, and most importantly, I'm going to give you the 5 keys to break free. Reclaim your true potential and finally live the life you were meant to lead. This isn't just theory. This is liberation. To understand how we got here, we have to look at the entity that designed this space, the inner critic. So, who is this architect of our invisible prison? It's a familiar voice, isn't it? The one that whispers doubt, amplifies fear, and constantly reminds you of your past failures. This isn't just a fleeting thought, it's a deeply ingrained pattern of self-sabotage. Often formed in childhood from past experiences, societal pressures, or even well-meaning but misguided advice. It's the voice that convinces you not to apply for that dream job because you don't have enough experience, or not to start that passion project because it's already been done better. It paralyzes us with perfectionism, fear of judgment, and the crushing weight of what if. This critic, however, isn't inherently evil. It often believes it's protecting you from pain, from disappointment. But in its misguided attempt to keep you safe, it builds walls around your potential, locking you in a perceived zone of comfort that quickly becomes a cage. We're so used to its voice, we mistake it for our own truth. And it's a lie, a comfortable, destructive lie. The bars of our cage. If the inner critic is the architect, then fear, procrastination, and the comfort zone are the physical bars of our cage. Let's examine how this prison is actually held together. The first bar is fear. Fear of failure, yes, but also fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of standing out, fear of being vulnerable. This fear isn't just an emotion, it's a powerful physiological response that tells us to retreat, to stay small. It convinces us that the unknown is dangerous. Then there's procrastination. This isn't laziness, it's a sophisticated coping mechanism, often fueled by that very fear. We delay because we're afraid of the outcome, afraid of the effort, afraid of not being perfect. We trade immediate relief for long-term regret. Procrastination is the act of knowingly delaying important tasks, often for less important ones, and it welds us to the spot. And finally, the most seductive bar of all, the comfort zone. Oh, how cozy it feels. It's the familiar routine, the predictable outcome, the path of least resistance. But comfort is a deceptive master. While it offers temporary safety, it starves your potential. It tells you good enough is perfectly fine, even when your soul screams for greatness. These 3 forces form a formidable barrier between who you are and who you could truly become. The shackles of external validation. But the prison doesn't stop with internal feelings. We must also face the heavy shackles of external validation. Beyond the inner critic and the bars of fear and comfort, there's another insidious layer, our addiction to the approval of others. In an age of constant connection, we tailor our lives, our choices, even our dreams, to gain likes, follows, compliments, or acceptance. We silence our authentic voice, afraid of standing out, afraid of disapproval. This addiction turns our focus outward, making us slaves to public opinion rather than masters of our own destiny. We become chameleons, constantly adapting to fit in, to please, to be perceived as good enough by someone else's standards. But here's the brutal truth. Seeking external validation is like trying to fill a bottomless pit. It hands over your power and your self-worth to external forces you can't control. When you live for others' approval, you never truly live for yourself. This shackle prevents you from taking bold risks and from realizing a vision that is truly your own. The first key, acknowledgement. It is time to start the jailbreak, beginning with the first and most powerful key, acknowledgement and self-awareness. You cannot escape a prison you don't know you're in. This means shining a bright, honest light on your inner critic, on your procrastination, on your comfort zone, and on your need for external validation. It's about pausing and asking, why am I hesitating? What am I truly afraid of? This isn't about judgment, it's about observation. Start a journal, practice mindfulness, or simply take 5 minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection. Identify the patterns. When does your inner critic speak loudest? What triggers your procrastination? The moment you become aware of these patterns, you create a tiny crack in the prison wall. You interrupt the automatic programming and reclaim a sliver of control. It's the first step from unconscious captivity to conscious liberation. The second key, redefining failure. With awareness comes the courage to turn the second key, redefining failure and embracing imperfection. Our society has conditioned us to view failure as an ending, a definitive proof of inadequacy. But true growth hackers understand that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a vital part of the journey. It's feedback. Every great invention is built on a mountain of attempts that didn't quite work. We must learn to detach our self-worth from the outcome. Give yourself permission to be bad at something new. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. This is the antidote to perfectionism, the weapon against the fear that keeps us from even starting. Embrace the messy, imperfect process of growth. Realize that every failure is just another step closer to mastery. When you redefine failure, the fear loses its power. The third key, micro actions. Now, to tackle that sticky beast, procrastination, we turn to the third key, micro actions and momentum. The thought of starting a massive project can be overwhelming, triggering that fight or flight response that leads to delay. The solution isn't willpower, it's tiny, almost ridiculously small actions. Break down your intimidating goal into the smallest possible step. Don't aim to write a book, aim to write one sentence. Don't aim to run a marathon, aim to tie your running shoes. These are your atomic habits in action. Once you take that tiny first step, the inertia is broken. One micro action leads to another, creating a momentum that makes larger tasks feel manageable. This isn't about grand leaps, it's about consistent, incremental progress. Each tiny win builds self-efficacy and confidence, creating a positive feedback loop that crushes procrastination. The fourth key, inner validation. To truly free ourselves from the opinions of others, we need to turn the fourth key, cultivating inner validation. This means building a deep, unwavering sense of self-worth that comes from within, rather than being dependent on external praise. How do you do this? By aligning your actions with your values, by living authentically, by pursuing goals that resonate with your soul, regardless of what others think. Celebrate your small victories, acknowledge your efforts, and practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. When your sense of worth is anchored internally, the opinions of others become mere suggestions, not dictates. The need for external validation withers because your cup is already full. You gain the courage to be unconventional, to be unique, to be unapologetically you. This key grants you an unbreakable sense of self, impervious to the shifting sands of public opinion. The fifth key, the environment. Finally, to ensure you never rebuild the prison, we deploy the fifth key, using your environment as a catalyst. We are products of our environment. Your physical and social surroundings powerfully influence your behavior, often unconsciously. If your environment is filled with distractions or cues for bad habits, you're constantly fighting an uphill battle. This key is about designing your worlds for success. Remove temptations, create friction for bad habits, and crucially, surround yourself with people who uplift you and who believe in your potential. Your environment should be a launchpad for your aspirations, not a trap. It should be a constant reminder of who you want to become. When you optimize your environment, you make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible, ensuring the invisible prison never reforms. Stepping into freedom, we have finally reached the moment of liberation. You've just been handed the 5 keys: acknowledgement, redefining failure, microactions, inner validation, and environmental design. The invisible prison is not impenetrable. It stands only as long as you remain unaware of its walls. The journey won't always be easy, but freedom never is. It requires courage, consistency, and a profound commitment to your own potential. The choice is yours. Will you remain a captive, or will you use these keys to step into the boundless landscape of your true capabilities? This isn't just about unlocking potential. It's about reclaiming your life. This is about building your growth theory. If you're ready to break free and build the life you truly desire, subscribe to My Growth Theory for more insights and strategies to continuously evolve. Click the bell icon so you don't miss our next step on this journey of liberation. The world is waiting for you. Go unlock your potential.